What is up? Welcome to Every Single Guitars, where the goal of my channel is to review every single guitar ever made. Pretty lofty goal, but let's see how many guitars I can review in my lifetime. Today I got a cool guitar, a Stratocaster guitar, but a very interesting looking Stratocaster. What do you see that's different? First glance. Let me try it again. Do you see something different from a regular Strat? Today I have a vintage 1982 Fender Stratocaster Dan Smith era. Did you see the difference yet? I've actually never seen this guitar in my life. I didn't know if this was modified or not, but after doing some research, this was apparently a guitar that was made in the early 80s, just like this. So this guitar is all original except for the pickguard. The pickguard is white, and the last owner, he gave me the original pickguard. He put on this tortoise style pickguard, which I only prefer on a Sunburst, but to be honest, this doesn't look bad at all. I was debating if I should switch it out to the original, but I might just keep it like this. This doesn't look bad at all. Obviously, this is a Stratocaster modeled after the Strat, but the biggest difference of this guitar is there's only two knobs only, which is very unusual for a Strat. A Strat is known for 3 knobs, 1 volume, 2 tone, and then the output jack being right here around this area. But for this guitar, there's only 1 volume, 1 tone, and where the other tone is supposed to be, they replaced it for a output jack. It's a similar style guitar to a Telecaster, but it's still a 5-way switch, which is great. I own a Strat with a 3-way, early 70s, and I prefer a 5-way. It's just more versatility, more tones. But another unusual thing about this guitar is this bridge and saddle setup. I actually have never seen this style of bridge. I have seen it on one early 80s Telecaster, and to be honest, I thought that was a modified Telecaster. But apparently, sometime in the early 80s, Fender did release a bridge setup design just like this. The shape is a little bit longer. The whammy is not a screw-on whammy. It's actually a whammy where you just put it in and you can pull it out, which I prefer other than the screwing. But at the same time, I'm not a whammy bar user. I don't use a tremolo at all, so I don't really care if it's a screw or a pull put type of whammy bar thing, but I just thought that was an interesting feature. So I did do some research of this guitar, the Dan Smith era Fender Strats, and apparently the reason why they decided to do the 2 knobs rather than the traditional 3 was to save money, cut back costs. You know, I guess not putting 1 tone may reduce the cost, but does it really make that big of a difference when you're making a guitar? I mean, I'm not an expert in building guitars or making guitars, so I don't know the exact expense it takes to create a guitar, but I feel like this is such a minor difference, you know? Maybe it's because of the wiring that may be a little bit more expensive or cheaper, but if I was a company and I was trying to reduce how much it costs to make a guitar, I don't know, I may change up the wood of the body. You know, at the same time, I feel like those are pretty drastic cutbacks. So maybe this 1 tone knob not being present does reduce the cost, but like I said, I have no knowledge of what it takes to build a guitar, so I'm not too sure on that. But I have played with this guitar a good amount. You know, from the research that I've done on the Dan Smith era Fender Strats, some people say that tone is not good, the quality is not good, it's not a good Strat, blah blah blah. But I wonder if those people have actually owned and played a Dan Smith Strat, because this, you know, from my experience of playing, sounds very good. I mean, even though they may have cut back costs, I don't get the sense of this being cheap. I don't get the sense of this being underbuilt. Purely from a blind test quality standpoint, this is a extremely high quality guitar. This is just like any other Fender American Stratocaster that I have owned. And I'm not sure what kind of pickups they used on these, but tone wise sounds very, very good. You know, even though the saddle and bridge design is different from any other Strat that I've played, it has no effect on the playability, it has no effect on the tuning stability, it has no effect on anything. So, I mean, if the goal of the Dan Smith Strats was to cut back costs, but still produce a quality guitar, I feel like they succeeded, because this is just a standard Strat, but just with 1 tone. And to be honest, I kind of prefer this one volume, one tone, because this is a master volume and this is a master tone. So whatever selector you go to, you can just control it with one knob. That makes it so much easier. So basically consider this a telly style guitar, but with 5 selectors. It's just a good guitar. So I'll show you how this guitar sounds like. So I'm still practicing with this loop thing. I get how to use the pedal, but the hard thing that I'm realizing is the timing. You know, getting the beats on point, but that just comes from practice. But the neck pickup sounds great. Middle sounds great too. Try the bridge. About loop pedal is if you mess up once, you gotta start all over again. So it's difficult to get it perfect from the beginning to the end, but like I said, that just comes from practice. But overall, this is a very good guitar, very quality sounding Strat. It's almost, I think it's a little bit brighter sounding than a standard American Standard. I don't know if it's because of the 2 knobs, maybe they did something to the wiring, but it's a little bit more. Overall, I mean, this is an excellent guitar. Nothing bad to say this from a build or tone standpoint. Build quality, I give this an 8 out of 10. Just a solid guitar. You know, I've never judged the guitar a 10 out of 10 because I don't know what a perfect guitar is like. But this is probably one of the more higher quality Fender American Standard guitars, or Fender American guitars. Tone? Dude, tone, I give this an 8.5 out of 10. Sounds really good. good. No disappointment. Even though it's one tone, one knob, I mean, still sounds great regardless. So for all the haters of the Dan Smith era Strats, I really don't understand why they say that. Maybe some Dan Smiths aren't good as the other ones, but if that's the case, then this is not the bad one I got. This is a very good sounding Strat. 1982 Fender American Strat, Dan Smith era. It's a great guitar. And it kind of matches my shirt too.